think what we're saying as a council is we're fed up with the banks ripping us off and ripping off everybody in our society, and they need dramatic reform. Of course, they got us over a barrel with this money here and running our city, but maybe the message will get back to the big shots of these banks, and they begin to realize they're here for us and not for just their profit motive that is at the expense of everybody. I'm really fed up and frustrated that we are dealing with the bad guys all the time.
This has put us in a very bad situation.
You understand, while all of us didn't get up and speak on this issue, hopefully you understand the situation you put us in, and we want you to think more like we're thinking, and not just brush aside something like that and feel like it was vetted 2 years ago. I want you to think like we think, and we're very, concerned about who we do business with.
The letters of credit are negotiated like the underwriters are, and the letters of credit are even more difficult to obtain right now than this is. I mean, nobody will do business with us. One of the banks, actually, Bank of Nova Scotia, they didn't even answer our calls. They didn't extend the letter of credit because of the situation the city's in. We're having a very difficult time because of our financial situation, getting people to talk to us. And we're in a bind because all these firms we're suing.
There's 40 firms who are defendants in this lawsuit.
Right, big players in the municipal market. 50% for JP Morgan, 30% for Bank of America, 10% for Loop, and 10% for RBC.
I'll be very, very clear. If this transaction does not move forward, can you or can't you come back in time with a new proposal of firms so that we are able to pay our bills? Trans dollars are used to pay our immediate
Correct.
bills. I just want to be very, very clear on that point.
I asked my staff the same question, knowing there was concerns, and it was very clear that it would be close to impossible to be able to do it in the time frame we need to get done.
Team together at this juncture with a $1.2 billion sale and the marketing beginning next week, I believe could seriously endanger our ability to do the trans, and it would be disastrous if we were not able to do the trans.
Couldn't Goldman Sachs, could they be put in this deal, or even at this late date, is what you're telling me?
Goldman is the only one we don't have a suit against right now.
Everybody else on that
large
column?
firms.
Of the large firms, correct.
Right, so could Goldman be substituted at this point?
You could. They'd have to come in at the last minute. We'd have to change documents again. That's your choice at this point. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You're asking me, could they? Yes, they could.
And Goldman, while they're not in the lawsuit, they're in Congress virtually every other day. So there's other issues to consider on that front.
They all have issues.
Well, that's true. I mean, I'm sure all banks at some point have issues at this point. But I think for us, the policy was more about who we were actively engaged in a lawsuit with.
Motion that we not approve this proposal, and we ask the CAO to come back with firms that are not under the current lawsuit, and to bring that back to the council for final approval.
All right, we have a second for Mr. Rosendahl. Clerk, would you please open the roll? Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
27. We have to have this money. If we don't do it today, we can't move forward. So I'm going to swallow hard and ask you to support this today, but that we ask that we go back out to RFP and remove those companies that are in that lawsuit and bring us back a list and get a better understanding of what our responsibilities are when they bring us these proposals, and we ask that they not be brought back at the last minute. No, that's what I would
Mr. Parks, is that a motion?
That's a motion.
And whatever happened today cannot happen again. $1 billion at stake. We are not pleased with the way this was handled.
That's clear. Thank you.
I would just like to make sure that the council is aware we do have another deal pending before council that will be coming up in the next week with our wastewater, so that you're going to have the same issues there because of this discussion. And so just so you're aware, it is out there because it was already in process before we had this conversation.
No, we have existing letters of credit with Bank of America and JP Morgan. And because the market, there is no credit to be had, we surveyed the banks, And the only ones that were willing to deal with us were the ones that we already had letters of credit with, which are Bank of America and JP Morgan.